The current WWE Women's Division is stacked with 38 talented wrestlers, established stars, upcoming talent, and future WWE Hall of Famers. Each superstar will be ranked based on their score out of 50 when combining their wrestling ability, their mic ability, their character, their career success, and their popularity to determine their ranking. Please be aware that the best wrestler might rank lower due to having lower scores in other areas. We have included attribute increases and decreases to superstars' scores based on their 2022 scores that we gave in last year's video. Today we rank every superstar in the 2023 WWE Women's Division that are currently on Raw and SmackDown from worst to best. In 38th place we have Tamina Snuka, who has managed to score 23 points. The daughter of WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Superfly Snuka debuted in 2010 alongside the Usos. Her career highlights were being the bodyguard of Xia Li, being a member of Team Bad alongside Naomi and Sasha Banks, and winning the women's tag team titles with Natalya in 2021. Tamina had numerous 24/7 title reigns in 2022 before disappearing off WWE TV. In 37th place we have B-Fab, who has managed to score 24 points. B-Fab first appeared in WWE in 2021 as a member of Hit Row. She had a few underwhelming matches in NXT before being fast-tracked to SmackDown with Hit Row. The group got released from WWE only to be brought back a year later in 2022. The popularity of Hit Row has died down in the past year, but B-Fab has shown signs of improvement, which has moved her up from last place this year. In 36th place we have Xia Li, who has managed to score 25 points. Her WWE career started in 2019 as she had an underwhelming run in NXT before being called up to SmackDown in 2021, where she made a limited number of appearances. Xia was drafted to Raw in 2023 and has struggled for TV time until recently. In 35th place we have Valhalla, aka Sarah Logan, who has managed to score 26 points. Sarah Logan first wrestled in WWE and NXT in early 2017. 9 months later Sarah was called up to SmackDown as a member of Riot Squad alongside Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. Sarah got to wrestle the top names in the company as she pinned Sasha Banks on Raw and came runner-up to Carmella in the WrestleMania 35 Women's Battle Royal. Sarah Logan went solo following the 2019 WWE Draft and was released from WWE 1 year later. In 2022, Sarah Logan returned as Valhalla as the manager of Viking Raiders, where she has played a limited role. In 34th place we have Piper Niven, who has managed to score 27 points. We first saw Piper Niven in NXT UK in 2019 before she got called up to Raw in 2021 to be the bodyguard of Eva Marie as she got renamed Doudrop. The partnership lasted a few months before Doudrop went solo. Doudrop lost the Queen's Crown final to Zelina Vega at Crown Jewel 2021 and a Raw Women's title match to Becky Lynch at Royal Rumble 2022. Doudrop disappeared for a while before returning as Piper Niven in the 2023 Royal Rumble match. Piper Niven made herself the Women's Tag Team Champion with Chelsea Green without actually winning the titles, as the team have slowly started to gain momentum in recent weeks. In 33rd place we have Ivy Nile, who has managed to score 28 points. Ivy Nile made her NXT debut in August alongside Diamond Mine. After spending 2 years in NXT, the group were called up to Raw at the end of October 2023. Ivy Nile had an impressive in-ring Raw debut in a number 1 Contenders Battle Royal. In 32nd place we have Kayden Carter, who has managed to score 29 points. Kayden was first seen in WWE during the 2018 Mae Young Classic, where she won her first 2 matches before being knocked out in the quarterfinal. In 2020, she formed a partnership with Kacy Catanzaro in NXT. The team had a quiet 2 years before winning the NXT Women's Tag Team titles in August 2022. The team held the titles for a record-breaking 186 days. Shortly after losing the titles, the team got drafted to Raw in 2023 and have struggled for opportunity. In 31st place we have Katana Chance, who has managed to score 30 points. Kacy also competed in the 2018 Mae Young Classic and managed to defeat Raquel Rodriguez in the first round before getting knocked out by Rhea Ripley in the second round. Katana had the biggest moment of her career during the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble match as she impressed many. Katana nearly retired in 2019 but decided to return in 2020 to form a partnership with Kayden Carter. Her story has been the same as Kayden, as she is a former NXT Women's Champion and has also struggled for opportunities since getting called up to Raw in 2023. In 30th place we have Tegan Nox, who has managed to score 30 points. We first saw Tegan in WWE during the 2018 Mae Young Classic as she managed to make it to the quarterfinal against Rhea Ripley. Sadly, Tegan tore her ACL for the second time during the match. Tegan returned to NXT 1 year later and formed Team Kick with Dakota Kai. The partnership did not last long as Dakota Kai turned on Tegan in an iconic War Games moment. The two had a great feud in NXT in 2020 that lasted for 8 months before Tegan suffered her third ACL tear. Tegan returned to NXT 10 months later and got immediately called up to SmackDown in a team with Shotzi but was released 4 months later. Tegan returned to WWE 2 years later by helping Liv Morgan against Damage Control. Tegan got drafted to Raw in 2023 as she struggled for opportunity before having a great match on Raw with Becky Lynch in October 2023. It now looks like WWE are about to finally give Tegan a push. In 29th place we have Nikki Cross, who has scored 31 points. Nikki debuted in NXT in 2016 and would eventually join Sanity. Nikki left the group as she got called up to SmackDown in early 2019 with no real plan. Nikki got paired with Alexa Bliss a few months later. The team won the women's tag team titles twice within a year, with their second happening at WrestleMania 36 in the opening match. In 2021, she introduced a superhero gimmick called Nikki ASH as she won the 2021 Women's Money in the Bank and cashed in to win the Raw Women's title one night later. Not long afterwards, Nikki won her third women's tag team title with Rhea Ripley. Nikki reverted back to her old gimmick in October 2022 and has struggled for TV time over the past year, which has resulted in her stats decreasing. In 28th place we have Maxxine Dupri, who has scored 32 points. We were first introduced to Maxxine in NXT in 2022 before she was quickly fast-tracked to the main roster as the sister of Max Dupri as she joined Maximum Male Models. Maxxine eventually became the manager of the group after Max Dupri left the group and transitioned back to LA Knight. Maxxine turned face in early 2023 and joined Chad Gable and Otis in Alpha Academy. Maxxine has shown encouraging signs in the ring and has gotten popular amongst the audience due to her association with Alpha Academy, which has boosted her up these rankings. In 27th place we have Scarlett, who has scored 32 points. In 2020, NXT was introduced to Scarlett and Karrion Kross. Within 3 months, Scarlett had successfully helped manage Kross towards winning the NXT Championship. In 2021, Kross was called up to Raw without Scarlett, but the pair would eventually be released a few months later. In 2022, Scarlett and Kross were one of Triple H's first rehires as the duo debuted on SmackDown by attacking Drew McIntyre. Since then, Scarlett has continued to manage Kross. She has had the rare chance to wrestle on SmackDown and has just recently hosted NXT Halloween Havoc with Shotzi. In 26th place we have Isla Dawn, who has scored 33 points. Isla first appeared on NXT UK in 2018 and spent the next 4 years trying to win the NXT UK Women's title before the brand shut down. Isla moved to America in late 2022 and started a feud with Alba Fyre. After several battles with Alba Fyre, the two formed a tag team and won the NXT Women's Tag Team titles in April 2023. 1 month later, the pair got called up to SmackDown and have been struggling for an opportunity ever since. In 25th place we have Mia Yim, who has scored 33 points. Mia Yim entered the 2017 and 2018 Mae Young tournaments before being officially signed by WWE afterwards. Mia Yim became a regular feature on NXT for the next 2 years. In 2020, Mia was rebranded as Reckoning as she got called up to the main roster as a member of Retribution, which ended up being a disaster. Mia Yim was released from WWE in November 2021 before returning to WWE in November 2022 as a member of the OC. Mia Yim was a part of the winning Women's War Games team at Survivor Series 2022. Mia got rebranded as Michin and has had a quiet 2023. In 24th place we have Nia Jax, who has scored 33 points. In October 2015, Nia made her NXT debut by defeating Evie, someone that you might know as someone else. 2 months later, Nia was battling Bayley for the NXT Women's title and at NXT TakeOver London. Nia got called up to Raw in summer 2016 and spent the next 2 years challenging for the Raw Women's title. Nia finally managed to win the title after defeating Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania 34. From September 2020 to May 2021, Nia had 2 women's tag team title runs with Shayna Baszler. Nia was released in November 2021 before making a one-off return as the 30th entrant in the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble match. Nia officially rejoined WWE in September 2023 after returning on Raw. In 23rd place we have Sonya Deville, who has scored 34 points. We were first introduced to Sonya Deville in the 2015 series of Tough Enough. Sonya did not win, but she was awarded an NXT contract before moving up to Raw in November 2017 to join Paige and Mandy Rose. Sonya continued to team with Mandy Rose until they had a feud in 2020. Sonya became an on-screen authority figure in 2021 before being fired in 2022. Sonya Deville won her first championship in WWE as she became Women's Tag Team Champions with Chelsea Green in July 2023. Unfortunately, Sonya got injured a few weeks later and had to vacate her title. In 22nd place we have Candice LeRae, who has scored 34 points. Candice LeRae officially joined NXT in 2018 after being recognized as one of the best female wrestlers on the Indies. Candice is regarded as one of the best female stars that appeared on NXT that never won the NXT Women's title during her 3 years on the brand. She did, however, win the Women's Tag Team titles with Indi Hartwell in 2021. Candice left WWE only to return in September 2022. After impressive matches with Dakota Kai and Bayley in 2022 on Raw, Candice has struggled on the main roster in 2023. In 21st place we have Indi Hartwell, who has scored 35 points. Indi joined NXT in early 2020 and found herself joining Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae and Austin Theory as the group became known as The Way. In 2021, Indi and Candice had a 63-day reign with the women's tag team titles. On the first episode of NXT 2.0, Indi was in the main event segment as she married Dexter Lumis. Indi lost her way for the next 18 months before winning the NXT Women's title in a multi-person ladder match in April 2023. Indi had the shortest NXT Women's title reign with 31 days as she vacated the title after getting called up to Raw. In 20th place we have Alba Fyre, who has scored 35 points. Alba, who is better known as Kay Lee Ray, appeared in the 2017 Mae Young Classic before joining NXT UK in January 2019. Kay Lee Ray was the most successful star in NXT UK as she won and held the NXT UK Women's title for 649 days. Kay Lee Ray moved to America and joined NXT in August 2021. In March 2022, Kay Lee Ray won the Women's Dusty Cup with IYO Sky. Shortly after this, she got rebranded as Alba Fyre as she unsuccessfully challenged for the NXT Women's title before winning the NXT Women's Tag Team titles with Isla Dawn in April 2023. Alba got called up to SmackDown shortly after. Alba Fyre is one we are predicting will have a bright future in WWE. In 19th place we have Zoey Stark, who has scored 35 points. Zoey Stark debuted in NXT in early 2021 and went on to win the NXT Women's Tag Team titles with IYO Sky 6 months later. After suffering an MCL injury, Zoey returned to action in July 2022 by winning a 20-woman Battle Royal in NXT. Zoey Stark got called up to Raw in May 2023 and ended up joining forces with WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus in her feud with Becky Lynch. Over the next few months, Zoey would appear in the 2023 Women's Money in the Bank match and continue battling Becky Lynch before turning on Trish at Payback 2023 to write Trish off WWE TV. Zoey has continued to grow momentum and has just recently won a #1 contender Battle Royal on Raw. In 18th place we have Natalya, who has scored 35 points. The veteran of the WWE Women's Locker Room first entered it in 2008. Despite having a 15-year WWE Main Roster career, she does not have the longest list of accomplishments, as she won the Divas title in 2010. She won the SmackDown Women's title in 2017 and won the Women's Tag Team titles with Tamina in 2021. Natalya has played a huge role in putting over and training upcoming talent during her tenure in WWE. In 17th place we have Shotzi, who has scored 36 points. Shotzi debuted in NXT in late 2019. Shotzi won her first and so far her only championship in WWE with Ember Moon, as the team won the NXT Women's Tag Team titles in early 2021. Later in 2021, Shotzi was called up to SmackDown and has had many on-off pushes in the singles and tag division ever since. In 16th place we have Chelsea Green, who has scored 37 points. Chelsea Green signed with WWE in 2018 after previously appearing in the 2015 series of Tough Enough. Chelsea's NXT run was slightly underwhelming due to a series of injuries. Chelsea got called up to SmackDown in 2020 but got injured during the match, which resulted in Chelsea being released in 2021. Chelsea Green made a surprise return during the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble and got eliminated in a record-breaking 5 seconds. Chelsea Green got an immediate push with a new Karen gimmick, which has made her a regular character on Raw throughout 2023. Chelsea was rewarded with the Women's Tag Team titles in July 2023 with Sonya Deville, who then vacated it to Piper Niven. Chelsea has been one of the breakout WWE stars of 2023. In 15th place we have Kairi Sane, who has scored 37 points. Kairi debuted in NXT in 2017 by defeating Tessa Blanchard, Bianca Belair, Dakota Kai, Toni Storm and Shayna Baszler to win the 2017 Mae Young Classic. In 2018, Kairi managed to defeat Shayna to win the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. In 2019, Kairi got called up to SmackDown and formed Kabuki Warriors with Asuka. The team won the Women's Tag Team titles at Hell in a Cell 2019, retained the titles against Becky Lynch and Charlotte in the main event of TLC 2019, and dropped the titles in the opening match of WrestleMania 36. Kairi left WWE in the summer of 2020. Kairi Sane returned to WWE at Crown Jewel 2023 as she helped her former friend IYO Sky. In 14th place we have Raquel Rodriguez, who has scored 37 points. Raquel Rodriguez debuted in NXT in 2020 as the bodyguard of Dakota Kai. Raquel continued to improve throughout the year and earned a dominating win inside the 2020 Women's War Games match. In February 2021, Raquel and Dakota Kai won the first ever Women's Dusty Cup and would eventually be crowned the first NXT Women's Tag Team champions a few weeks later. Shortly afterwards, Raquel defeated IYO Sky to win the NXT Women's Championship. After splitting up in summer of 2021, Raquel and Dakota reunited to once again win the NXT Women's Tag Team titles in April 2022. Raquel got called up to SmackDown shortly after and won the Women's Tag Team titles with Aaliyah in August 2022. Raquel would win her fourth and then record-breaking fifth Women's Tag title, both with Liv Morgan, in 2023. Since then, Raquel has shown promising signs of becoming a single star despite having the record amount of Women's Tag title reigns in WWE history. In 13th place we have Carmella, who has scored 38 points. In our opinion, Carmella is one of the best female stars on the microphone and can adapt to character changes almost better than anyone. Carmella's WWE journey started in 2014 in NXT as a manager and then eventually as a competitor to the NXT Women's Championship. Carmella got called up to SmackDown in 2016. 1 year later, Carmella won the first and second ever Women's Money in the Bank matches. 287 days later, Carmella successfully cashed in the Money in the Bank to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. Carmella went on to have a very entertaining and underrated 131-day title reign, in our opinion. Shortly after losing the title, she formed a face partnership with R-Truth as they won the 2018 Mixed Match Challenge. In 2019, Carmella won the WrestleMania 35 Women's Battle Royal and had 4 24/7 title reigns. Carmella turned heel in late 2020, she formed a partnership with Zelina Vega in 2021 as the pair won the women's tag team titles. In 2023, Carmella adopted the Lita Thong look as her next gimmick before taking a break from WWE to give birth. In 12th place we have Zelina Vega, who has scored 39 points. Zelina's score increased almost higher than anyone this year compared to last year. Zelina first made her name in NXT in 2017 as she successfully managed Andrade towards winning the NXT Championship. This partnership took the team up to SmackDown in 2018 as the pair split 2 years later. Zelina went solo but was unfortunately released shortly afterwards due to a disagreement. Zelina Vega made a shocking return to SmackDown in mid-2021 as she went on to win the Queen's Crown tournament later in the year. Zelina's success continued as she won the women's tag team titles with Carmella and carried the titles into WrestleMania 38. In late 2022, Zelina Vega joined Legado del Fantasma. In April 2023, Rey Mysterio recruited the group to reform LWO as Zelina Vega turned face for the first time in her career. This run of momentum led to Zelina Vega having the biggest match of her career against Rhea Ripley in Puerto Rico at Backlash 2023. Zelina had an impressive Money in the Bank match performance in London and has continued to become more popular in LWO, which has been her most successful role in WWE. In 11th place we have Shayna Baszler, who has scored 39 points. Shayna joined NXT in 2017 after spending years transitioning into the wrestling industry from MMA. Shayna won her first NXT Women's Championship in April 2018. She briefly dropped the title before winning her second NXT Women's Championship at the Evolution 2018 event, as this reign lasted 416 days. Shayna got called up to Raw in 2020 and dominated the Women's Elimination Chamber match to earn a WrestleMania title shot match with Becky Lynch. Following this, Shayna spent the next year in a tag team with Nia Jax as they won the women's tag team titles twice. In 2022, Shayna formed a partnership with Ronda Rousey as the team won the Women's Showcase match at WrestleMania 39, the women's tag titles in May and the NXT tag titles in June before Shayna turned on Ronda at Money in the Bank. Shayna sent Ronda Rousey out of WWE after defeating her in an MMA rules match at SummerSlam 2023 to kickstart Shayna's singles run. In 10th place we have Dakota Kai, who has scored 40 points. In our opinion, Dakota Kai is the most underrated female superstar in WWE, as she started her WWE journey in 2017 by entering the 2017 Mae Young. In December 2018, Dakota Kai tore her ACL for the first time. She returned to NXT in 2019 and had her biggest NXT moment when she turned heel by attacking Tegan Nox during the first ever Women's War Games match. Dakota would go on to become the MVP of Women's War Games matches over the next few years. In 2020, Dakota spent the year challenging for the NXT Women's title with Raquel as her bodyguard. In our opinion, Dakota Kai is the most talented NXT female superstar that never managed to win the NXT Women's title. The pair won the first ever Women's Dusty Cup and became the first Women's NXT Tag Team Champions. The pair split later that year, but reunited a few months later to win their second Women's Tag Team titles. After being released from WWE in April 2022, Dakota Kai made her shocking WWE return at SummerSlam 2022 to form Damage Control with Bayley and IYO Sky. The group had immediate success as Dakota and IYO became two-time Women's Tag Team Champions in 2022. Damage Control featured in a high-profile match at WrestleMania 39 against Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus. A few weeks later, Dakota Kai tore her ACL again. At this current time, WWE have brought her back to SmackDown as a manager for Damage Control while she recovers, but we have high hopes for Dakota Kai in the ring when she returns in 2024. In 9th place we have IYO Sky, who has scored 41 points. IYO is regarded as one of the best female wrestlers in the world, and her WWE journey started in 2018 as she entered the Mae Young Classic. IYO made it to the final before losing to Toni Storm in the final at Evolution 2018. IYO ironically teamed with Dakota Kai on her NXT in-ring debut later that year. In 2020, IYO Sky won the NXT Women's title in the main event of NXT TakeOver in Your House after defeating Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley as she managed to hold the title for 304 days. In 2021, IYO Sky won the NXT Women's Tag Team titles with Zoey Stark and the Women's Dusty Cup in early 2022 with Kaylee Ray. At SummerSlam 2022, IYO Sky made a shocking appearance despite reports she was leaving WWE to form Damage Control with Bayley and Dakota Kai. IYO and Dakota won the Women's Tag Team titles twice in 2022. IYO Sky managed to win the 2023 Women's Money in the Bank match in London, and she successfully cashed in a month later to win the Women's Championship at SummerSlam 2023. At this current time, IYO is the current Women's Champion, and right now the sky is the limit for IYO. In 8th place we have Liv Morgan, who has scored 42 points. Liv's WWE journey started in NXT in 2015, where she was mainly used to put over other talent. In November 2017, Liv received a call up to SmackDown as she formed Riot Squad with Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan. The team split in 2019 as Liv Morgan went solo. Liv Morgan continued to improve over the years as she worked her way into the title picture at the start of 2022. Liv was finally rewarded for her progression as she won the 2022 Women's Money in the Bank match and cashed in on Ronda Rousey that same night to win the SmackDown Women's title. Liv had a pretty successful title reign as she retained over Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. In 2023, Liv Morgan entered second in the Women's Royal Rumble match and broke the record for most time in a Women's Royal Rumble match with 1 hour, 1 minute and 8 seconds, along with Rhea Ripley, who won the match. Following this, Liv re-entered the Women's Tag division and finally found success in the division with Raquel Rodriguez as her partner, as the two won the Women's Tag Team titles twice within 3 months. Liv unfortunately is currently ruled out with a shoulder injury, but we are positive the future is bright for Liv. In 7th place we have Alexa Bliss, who has scored 43 points. In our opinion, Alexa Bliss is possibly the best female WWE star on the microphone of all time, and she's one of the greatest female superstars fully created by WWE. Alexa's WWE career started in NXT in 2013 as she was mainly used as a manager and a talent to put over other talent. Alexa got called up to SmackDown in July 2016. Within 13 months since her main roster call-up, she won the SmackDown Women's Championship twice before getting drafted to Raw and winning the Raw Women's Championship twice. In 2017, Alexa Bliss was on top of the entire WWE Women's division. In 2018, Alexa Bliss won the Women's Money in the Bank match and cashed in later that night to win her third Women's Championship. In 2019, Alexa formed an unexpected partnership with Nikki Cross as the team won the Women's Tag Team titles twice within a year, with the second happening in the opening match of WrestleMania 36. From 2020 to 2021, Alexa Bliss got to show off her incredible acting ability as she joined forces with Bray Wyatt and then eventually started carrying around a doll called Lily. Following an 8-month absence, Alexa returned to WWE in 2022 as she stripped back the characters and we saw a more regular version of herself. Alexa Bliss won her third women's tag title with Asuka on the 2022 Halloween episode of Raw. Alexa turned heel in late 2022 and seemed to be heading back to reuniting with Bray Wyatt before his unfortunate passing. We last saw Alexa Bliss at the 2023 Royal Rumble as she is on leave from WWE to give birth. We will hopefully see Alexa Bliss back in a WWE ring some stage in 2024. In 6th place we have Asuka, who has scored 44 points. Asuka is one of the greatest female wrestlers of all time and has won everything there is to win in WWE during her 8 years in the company. Her success in WWE started immediately as Asuka dominated NXT by going undefeated during her 2 years on the brand and holding the NXT Women's Championship for 510 days. Asuka moved to Raw in 2017 and won the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match in 2018. Asuka finally managed to win the SmackDown Women's title in the main event of TLC 2018. In 2019, Asuka formed Kabuki Warriors with Kairi Sane as the team would go on to win the Women's Tag Team titles. In 2020, Asuka won the Women's Money in the Bank match and was rewarded the Raw Women's Championship. Asuka briefly dropped the title before reclaiming it for a second time at SummerSlam 2020. At TLC 2020, Asuka won the women's tag team titles but with Charlotte Flair this time. Asuka won the women's tag team titles for a third time in October 2022 with Alexa Bliss. In 2023, Asuka displayed a new look and attitude which eventually led her to winning the Raw Women's Championship at Night of Champions 2023. Asuka has had a WWE Hall of Fame headlining career. In 5th place we have Charlotte Flair, who has scored 44 points. This will come as a shock to many as Charlotte Flair is the most accomplished female star in WWE history. Charlotte Flair won the NXT Championship in 2014 and then won her second in 2020 after winning the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble. Charlotte next won the Divas title in 2015. Since 2016, Charlotte Flair has won the Raw Women's Championship 6 times, which included her victory inside Hell in a Cell, which was the first time women main evented WWE pay-per-view or stepped inside Hell in a Cell. Since 2017, Charlotte Flair has won the SmackDown Women's Championship 7 times, which included an unsuccessful title defense in the WrestleMania 35 main event. Charlotte is also a one-time women's tag team champion with Asuka in 2020. In recent years we have noticed Charlotte has not evolved her character in the same way people around her like Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks or Bayley have, which has resulted in her character getting somewhat stale, which has affected her positioning in this video. Despite this, she is still one of the greatest female wrestlers of all time. In 4th place we have Bayley, who has scored 45 points. Bayley has proven to be the unofficial MVP of the WWE's women's division since she joined WWE in 2013, as she has continued to evolve. Bayley established herself as one of the WWE horsewomen, and she ended up having potentially the most iconic women's wrestling match of all time at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn is 2015, as she defeated Sasha Banks to win the NXT Women's Championship. Bayley held the title for 223 days before moving to Raw in August 2016. Bayley won the Raw Women's title for the first time in February 2017 and successfully retained the title at WrestleMania 33. Bayley spent the next 2 years teaming with Sasha Banks as they became the first ever women's tag team champions in 2019. A few months later, Bayley won the 2019 Women's Money in the Bank match and successfully cashed in later that night to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley briefly lost and then reclaimed the SmackDown Women's title in October 2019 to kickstart her record-breaking 380-day title reign. Bayley and Sasha won the women's tag team titles for a second time during this reign in 2020 as the team held all the gold on Raw and SmackDown. Bayley returned to WWE after a year out with an injury at SummerSlam 2022 and introduced us to Dakota Kai and IYO Sky to form Damage Control. The group has been successful during their time together, and Bayley's selfless attitude has really put over Dakota, IYO, and the current crop of upcoming talent. Bayley deservingly is the first ever WWE female Grand Slam and Triple Crown winner, as her ability on the mic and in the ring is almost better than anyone. In 3rd place we have Rhea Ripley, who has scored 46 points. Rhea Ripley has skyrocketed up our list from 9th last year to 3rd this year, as she has improved more than anyone in the past year. Rhea debuted in NXT in 2017 before moving to NXT UK in 2018. Rhea Ripley became the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion. In 2019, Rhea Ripley moved to NXT and quickly won the NXT Women's Championship. In 2021, Rhea Ripley moved to Raw and managed to win the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 37. Later in 2021, Rhea Ripley won the women's tag team titles with Nikki Cross. In 2022, Rhea turned heel and joined the Judgment Day. Rhea entered the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble at number 1 and managed to win the match. At WrestleMania 39, Rhea Ripley defeated Charlotte Flair to win the SmackDown Women's Championship in one of WWE's greatest matches of 2023. In 2023, the Judgment Day has dominated Monday Night Raw, and Rhea Ripley is being considered by some as the leader of the group, as her character development alongside Dominic Mysterio has been a vital part of WWE programming this year. Currently, Rhea Ripley is the Women's World Champion and is in the top storylines on Monday Night Raw. The fact Rhea Ripley is only 27 is mind-blowing to us, as we predict she will top this list in a few years' time. In second place, we have Bianca Belair, who has scored 46 points. Arguably, the face of the WWE Women's division right now is Bianca Belair. Bianca secured this spot with her incredible ability in the ring and her ability to connect with the audience. Bianca Belair's WWE career started in 2017 in NXT, but it wasn't until 2020, after an impressive Royal Rumble appearance, that her push to the top started after a main roster call-up at WrestleMania. Bianca continued to develop as she won the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble. Bianca Belair challenged Sasha Banks as the two had an incredible WrestleMania 37 main event match, which saw Bianca win the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bianca Belair won the Raw Women's Championship 1 year later at WrestleMania 38 in an incredible match with Becky Lynch. Bianca Belair held the championship for 398 days, which broke the record for longest women's title reign of the modern era by retaining against established names such as Becky Lynch, Asuka, Carmella, Bayley, Alexa Bliss, and IYO Sky. At SummerSlam 2023, Bianca won the Women's Championship for 95 seconds, which ended due to a Money in the Bank cash-in. The EST is very close to becoming best in this list if her momentum continues to head upwards. In first place, we have Becky Lynch, who has scored a full 50 points. Becky Lynch has secured first place for a second year in a row, as Becky has reached unimaginable heights during her WWE career. Becky Lynch was the first female superstar to become the face of WWE. She has had incredible matches and feuds with the likes of Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Asuka, and even Trish Stratus, while helping develop upcoming talent at the time such as Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, IYO Sky, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, and even NXT talent such as Lyra Valkyria and Tiffany Stratton. Becky Lynch was the first person to win the SmackDown Women's title in 2016, which she managed to do for a second time in 2018. Becky Lynch won the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble match and was the first female to win a WrestleMania main event, as she won both the Raw and SmackDown Women's titles at WrestleMania 35 as she became the Man of WWE. Becky made a shocking return to WWE at SummerSlam 2021 after taking 15 months off to give birth by winning the SmackDown Women's title, which she eventually swapped for the Raw Women's title 2 months later. Last year, we believe Becky had two things to do to secure a full 50 rating, which she managed to do in 2023 as she won the women's tag team titles for the first time with Lita in February 2023 and won her long-deserved NXT Women's Championship in September 2023. Becky is still putting on incredible matches, she is creating moments, and is still continuing to elevate talent, which makes Becky Lynch the best in the WWE Women's division. If you enjoyed, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Without spoiling our rankings, please leave a comment on your thoughts, and we thank you for watching.